Okay, hello. So I'm back. Not working on the dev tool thing. I'm very pumped about that, but I should focus more on the SDK. And there's been some confusion around like how shells work. And I just realized that shells are very low level, and we should really change it to be terminals and commands, because there are two types of shells and they behave very differently, and now they're kind of shoved into this namespace of shells. So I think we should go in and create two files here called terminals, and then we're going to create another one called commands. And then we're going to copy shells and we're going to do terminals. And then we're going to clean this up. So we're going to call it terminals. And we can still have like, let's see, shell create options, running command. Yeah, so this is not something we're going to have here. Like there's some common things here. How we're going to do this. Yeah, I guess we can just call it types. And then we'll show anything common over there. But let's see what we're going to use here first. So shell run. Yeah, let's see. Let's just clean up the actual interface first. So yeah, and then we also have language interpreters. So I think that should also be its own thing. Like we're at a much higher abstraction level now than shells. So yeah, let's just call it interpreters. New file, interpreters. Okay, interpreters. And let's remove, let's see. So there's no language interpreter of Python or Node. Let's remove this. Creates a shell I can run, will return. Oh yeah. Yes. So this is like, yeah, we just need to, where the hell is, creates a shell, creates a terminal, creates a terminal shell, creates a terminal shell. Will not return output, will emit output as data is sent to std_in. So this would be terminals, create shell on, yeah, and this is like, it's such a duplicate. On out, that's enough. So let's call this terminal shell. Or we can call it terminal here. Like if you use xterm, it would kind of do something else. Write to the terminal. Like this is what people are actually using it for. Write to the terminal. Run a command. Terminal run. Oh, this is actually wrong. Oh. Yeah, I guess. Hello. Run a command. Yeah, I think that's why people were confused. The documentation isn't. Yeah, so this would kind of be when you're typing, you will kind of right? Yeah, I think we should just do that. Often combine with xterm output. Xterm events. Run the command. Go to the terminal and hit enter. Stop listening to the terminal. Disposable, dispose. Oh, what's that? Oh, dispose on out disposable. Dispose. Kill the terminal. Terminal. Okay, so we're gonna have an explicit like so you can do different. Why do we have all this here? Really? You know what? I'm actually gonna remove all the documentation and we're gonna rewrite it. Sorry. So it's not command. This is like, what do we call it? Oh. Why do we have shall create command? Why do we call it command? Yeah, I think we should call it type, and then command is type. Oh, interesting. Because you're creating it and then you're saying what type of terminal do you want? Do you want a bash terminal? And this is string. What kind of terminals do we support? I have to ask about this. I'm not very familiar with this. When creating a shell in Node, I see some code running like bash as a command to start it. What does that mean? What options do I have? I think we have, like, we should have a list of actual options there. But you can also like prep it. Born again shell. I didn't know that. Born again shell. Yeah. Exec name. Yeah. Shell type. Would that be a good name? Yeah, shell type. Let's do that. And they all have kind of the same, yeah. Okay, cool. Shell type, bash, and options, shell create options, pty size. Yeah, I think this should be just dimensions. This will be dimensions. We keep that the same everywhere. And then we rather, it's interesting how, I think the shell type is something you, it's interesting. Sometimes you want to define the shell type. Sometimes you want to only define the dimensions. Yeah, I kind of want to say, okay, I want to actually type this. Bash, or I know we have this one. Fish. Yeah, let's just shove these in here. KSH dash. And I'm going to ask if these are the shell types we actually have. Cool. And then, so if you want dimensions, you're going to get some help to define this. Because I know that, like, this is like the consumers of this SDK, they aren't experts in, like, they know what a developer does and needs, but they're not experts in like these low level things. So we need to help them. Okay, so we're gonna create a new shell instance. What I'm wondering is on shell updated. I think this can be the same. It has an ID. Well, that's the thing. I think we should. Yeah, because you don't want to write to a command, right? You just create the shell, and then, yeah, this is the weird thing. So we're gonna actually call this, where are we? We're on shells. So we're on, wait, where did we actually change things now? Was that here? Oh, fuck, did I do it on the wrong thing? No. Okay, so let's say terminals is this. Okay, create, fine, and we're not gonna have shell instance, we're gonna have terminal. And this is gonna be on output emitter, on output emitter, on output. Okay, let's actually properly rename them. So we don't have like these shell references everywhere. We don't really care about the shell. We care about the command or the terminal. Rename to on updated. So this actually sends us, yeah. So we have on output, and then we have on, yeah, on update. Cool. This dot shell. Okay. And this is all good and fine. Get the ID of the terminal. Can be used to open it again. We don't need a type here anymore. Name of the term. Yeah, so this is also an interesting thing. You can set the name of it. Exit code, that's fine. Well, it doesn't have an exit code, does it? Like a command has an exit code, but the terminal doesn't have like an exit code. Like you're killing it. If you, either you're using it or you're killing it. I'm gonna try that. So what can the status be here? Shell process state, running, finish, error, killed, restarting. Yeah, so we do have restart. What did that do? Picture. let's see, shell. Oh, wait. Wait, is this picture? Oh, that's the picture protocol. Sorry. Shell provider. Shell restart. What does this actually do? It grabs the shell, calls shell restart, which calls restart. On did output. Yeah, so it clears the shell. It goes into restarting. It kills it. So that's not something you would do with a terminal, right? Yeah, I don't think that makes sense. You would do that for a command, but you wouldn't do it. Like, why would you restart a terminal? But you want to write to it, or you want to run something. Or you want to kill it. Yeah. Then we have get output. Yeah, get output, and that's the output as a string. Oh, let's do. Just want to put it. Yeah, so this is kind of like how I like to do things. I put my properties in front of the constructor, then I have my methods after the constructor. Cool. So this is a terminal. You create it, you write to it, and you kill it. That's all you do for a terminal. And you want to handle dimensions. That's all good. Okay, let's see. I'm just gonna see if I have anyone reaching out for me. Nothing specific on my mind. Okay, write, run, fine. And then let's take a look at what we're not using here. Oh, wait, what's this? Run. Oh, okay, sorry. We're still not done here. So it's not, let's see. Get terminals. Get terminals. Get all. Yeah. And then we don't have this here. We don't care about language interpreter stuff. Let's see if there's anything else we can clean up. Why do we still have running command? Oh, run command as user. We don't want that. That's something we want somewhere else. Let's see now. Okay. We need shell create options. No. Do we need shell run options? No. Do we need shell open options? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Okay, open dimensions equals default shell size. Let's just make it consistent. Oh, sorry, dimensions. Open an existing terminal. So we don't need that. Wow, this is really cleaning up, I think. Shell size, shell status, that's fine. I think we can... Oh, we don't actually... Okay, let's delete this for now. We have default shell size. That's fine. And then we can delete unused imports. Cool. Again, oh, terminals, blah, blah, blah. So you can create one and you have like shell type, bash. I can't remember how you actually pronounce this. But then we create that. You get a new terminal back. You can also open existing terminal. Gets all terminals running in the current sandbox. They don't need this one. And then we have an actual terminal where you can listen to outputs. Do you really care about on update? So it could be killed. On shell out, on shells updated. I don't think you care about, because the only thing that can actually like kill it is you as a client. So I don't think I'm gonna be rough. I'm just gonna cut everything here to make it as simple as possible. So another thing is a command, right? You want to know when the command updates. But here you just want to listen to outputs and you're happy with that. Okay, so that's terminals. And then we have, maybe we should jump to interpreters. So let's take shells and do interpreters. So that means interpreters. Let's see, what do we actually need? We don't need this. Oh, is this no, that's a shell instance. Language interpreter. There we have language interpreter. Oh, it actually needs run. Okay, so that's interesting. Maybe that actually needs a command shell. So let's remove shell instance, I guess. And then what actually uses language interpreter? Did I remove something? Oh, I think I removed it. Dag nag it. I messed up. Okay, what we're gonna do, we're gonna reset shells. Discard changes. And then we're gonna move the actual shells into interpreters. And then we're gonna start removing stuff. So I run command as user. You know what? We're gonna do commands first because interpreter seems to be an abstraction over commands. So let's do that first. So I guess we want to do, we don't need these things. We don't care about shell. But we care about shell status, that's for sure. We have a running command. We probably have, let's just do this, default shell size. So this would be commands. And commands does not have any language interpreters. You can't create a command. You can only run a command. You cannot open a command. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, but as I said, you can run a command. Oh. Shell run options. What was that? No, it was just the dimensions. Oh, interesting. Oh, so we can pass shell name. Oh, interesting. Run command. Where do we actually insert shell name? Oh, so we Oh, interesting. Interesting. Okay. So and okay. So let's keep shell run options. Where are you? Shell run options. Commands. Yeah, I guess we can have shell. Okay. Interpreters. No, sorry. Shells. Shell size. Some of these are, of course, common. We can move them later. Let's call it dimensions. Cool. And this would be dimensions. Okay, that's, yeah. And then we say, not shell name, but name. Run get commands, get all. So that would be not shell. Yeah, so it's going to be something similar to command shell. Maybe we should call it like not just terminal, but terminal shell. Well, we'll see. Let's just call it a command for now. Rename command. Yeah, because I know there's a bit of exotic API around the promise. But that's hacky. I don't like enhancing native things. Let's see. Okay, cool. Sorry. Command. So we have, again, we're going to do on output. And then on update. That makes a lot of sense. And this would be on update. The funny thing is like what actually updates, right? And the only thing that really updates is shell DTO. Yeah, so the only thing that base shell DTO is really kind of the status. It doesn't change its name. Yeah, I wanna say on status, and then we're gonna pass potentially the exit code. On status change. Oh, sorry. Yeah, on status change emitter. And then we're gonna do, why is this void? Oh, interesting. I think we wanna I wanna pass actual status, right? Oh, any? Oh no, that's running restarting. Exit code. I guess that's a number, right? shell DTO. What was it? Command shell execute. Yeah, that's just a number. You don't even need that, right? Because it's based on like that is what an exit code is. It's like, but we have finished and error, right? So yeah, running, finish, error. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then we have fire updated shell status. You don't rename it during like running it. And then we have, oh, interesting. We even have that stuff in there. Good job, Beavis. We don't have a type. Might have a name. I guess we could have the, I don't like having the exit code. We have the status. You can't write to it. You can't run it again. You can kill it. And you can get its output, but that doesn't make any sense because you're running a command. So the point is, like, if you have a terminal, you might open the terminal again and you want to show the output of the terminal. But that's not the case for a command. Well, maybe. Yeah, no, wait, sorry. You might want to get the output, actually. Actually. Oops. It's, yeah, kind of, we know that. Cool. This is really nice. Get output, async kill, and then we would have async restart, because you can restart. You shouldn't dispose anything. You should just restart it. Yeah, exactly. So you want to restart a command, but it doesn't make sense to restart a terminal. Cool. And then run command as user. Nice. So we kind of have, yeah, we can remove language interpreter. Get random string, and I don't need this thing. Get all. Oh yeah, and then we should do shells, filter, shell.type, shell type equals command. Did I do that for terminals? Get all. Yeah. Okay, get all. Don't need to document that. Okay, so it's basically run and get all. Yes. Nice. I love it. But one thing is we're returning this weird running command. I don't think we should do that. I think we should return an actual command. But that command has a way for you to wait for it to finish. So what I would rather do here is, hello there. Yeah, so I'm working on the CodeSandbox SDK, and I'm I'm trying to make the story shorter every time someone asks. I told the story many times. So if you don't know CodeSandbox, It's a service that originally started as a way to code in the browser. It was like JS Fiddle on steroids. It actually had a bundler in the browser, so you could write React code and Vue code and Angular code and all this stuff. And then it became a company. We tried to monetize that. Nobody wanted to pay for it. We had ideas on how we could expand on doing, like, we had this amazing experience. It was just nobody wanted to pay for it. But we had shit tons of users, right? And we wanted to expand on this, take it to the next level. So we got some investment, and we started working on an infrastructure where we were led by the experience of the browser, which was instant. Like, you could jump into any sandbox, you could just start coding, and it would fork the sandbox into your own workspace and stuff like that. And we wanted that to work for true development environments, which is an insane idea. And then we were lucky, I guess, because there was this technology called Firecracker that allowed us to create these exceptionally efficient VMs. And we were actually able to implement all of these like features of like, you can visit someone else's VM that you only have read-only access to, and we can like fork it and you don't notice anything. And then we try to monetize that as like a cloud development environment, but no engineer actually wants to code real projects in the cloud because it's kind of like local development with latency. And you want your personal experience, and you have a lot of configuration and stuff like that. So even though you can create some unique flows in the cloud, especially for teams, it's not worth it. Like, people just don't want it. And then we're at the end of our runway, and we have this amazing infrastructure, but no one wants to pay for that either. And then AI happens, and we realize that this infrastructure is actually better for AI than for humans. But we didn't have the runway or the motivation to pivot again. So we got acquired by Together AI. So now we're taking all this infrastructure, all this product experience, building developer tooling, building an actual product on top of this infrastructure, and so on and so on. And we're putting everything into an SDK to help other companies and startups to build experiences on top of this. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm working on. And we ran through like building up an MVP of this SDK. So the SDK is really a way for you to interact with coding environments programmatically. And we built an MVP of this, like the founder of CodeSandbox built the MVP. And now I've kind of taken over to make this a real thing, accessible, everything's consistent, and it all kind of makes sense. So we're just, it's kind of, I guess REPL it, IDX, to some extent, I think. Though we went very generic, like we're based on like low-level VMs that runs on Docker and dev containers. While I think these other services is a little bit more opinionated about what you're running. Not that saying that's bad, it's just that can actually be very good for the user experience. You just narrow down your target audience. But the point is, like, we couldn't figure out the product. Like REPL, for example, they totally figured out the product. But we figured out the technology and the infrastructure. And now we're kind of just giving that away through the SDK, so more people that are better at finding a target audience and building products. Like, we're actually really good at building products. We just built the wrong products, which is funny. Anyways, so it's a lot of fun because we had no idea that this AI thing would happen and that everything we built would work so great with AI. That we have all the functionality. It's only for us now to enable other developers to access that functionality so they can build their products. And this is kind of where I have a lot of experience, like building APIs for developers. So what I just did now is that through the MVP, we just had this SDK shells API, which could do like, you could run commands, you can create terminals, and you could do all sorts of different things. And now I'm abstracting that into more specific things. So you have an explicit concept of a terminal, you have an explicit concept of a command, you have an explicit concept of an interpreter. But under the hood, they're all using shells. It's all in the spirit of making it as accessible as possible. Oh, that's really cool. What kind of platform are you building? Yeah, and happy to connect and share experiences for sure. I'm just going to continue here while we're talking. Let's see. Okay, so I think our oh yeah, it was this promise thing. So in the MVP, it was a bit exotic to create like a promise that has some additional commands on it. Or sorry, additional methods on it, kind of partly representing a promise, partly representing a command. So I think a better approach is to actually just create, let's see, we're gonna create an actual command, and then we're gonna expose a promise on it. So we're gonna allow this to have like a blocking promise, like a, what should we call it? Let's just call it promise. And then we're gonna see how we're gonna expose that. So when we run the command as a user, we're gonna, let's see, open shell DTO. Okay, so that's the shell. Did we pass the shell into the command? Where's the command? Command. Constructor. Yeah, we passed the shell into that. Yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're rather gonna, let's see, how do we create this promise? So we have the shell, and then we have the promise, result promise. Let's see, run command. Let's see, how are we gonna do this? Okay, so we're definitely gonna, okay, sorry. So we're gonna create the shell. Why is this a let? Nice. I'm sure, yeah, I actually had to update it related to the acquisition stuff. So, dispose on shell terminate in. Okay, so this, I want to create the shell. Yeah, I'm not sure why we, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this code and I'm going to shove it into the method that actually creates the command. So run, because this is just run command as user. And the only thing we're actually going to do here is we're going to remove the result promise. Everything that has to do with that result promise. Let's see. Result promise, remove that. What's run pre command? Where did that come from? What? Run pre-command? Oh, sorry. That's the that's the fourth. Oh my God, look at this. That's the fourth argument to this thing. Oh, I can remove this. What the hell is that? Run. So that would be. Oh, untangling this was more difficult than I thought it would be. Let's try again. Okay, so we have the result promise. Let's go up here. Where's, okay, so we just need this information to like understand the arguments here. So let's do this and let's do this. And then let's see. Let's try again. So first we want to drop doing this result promise. We're going to remove that. We're going to remove this. And I'm a little bit unsure what's happening here though. Isn't this part of the... Oh my God, this is horrible. It doesn't make it easier when I kind of have to zoom in because let's see. Wait, what happened? Okay. Result promise, where do you end? So that's where you start. And that's where you end, right? Yeah. But now we're not going to have a result promise. And this is going to be async. Oops, sorry. Again, we're not gonna have result promise. Okay, so this returns into the result promise. Oh, this becomes the output and exit code. Okay, I see. So that's fine. Okay, so now we go back up and now we're gonna actually create the shell. But what's run pre-command? Like, what is that thing? It's like the 1, 2, 3. Is it the fourth argument? Run 1, 2, 3, 4. I wonder what that was gonna be. Oh, run before the command. Oh, that's weird. Okay, but it's actually not used. It's always undefined. So we're just gonna remove that. Let's remove pre-command. And then command with n, and this would be if options. And I will, oops. Cool. And then we go and we grab this dot picture client. This dot picture workspace path. Shell size would be ops dot dimensions. Can I do that? Or default shell size. Nice. Okay, so now we have our shell. We do support setting a name for the thing, which is interesting. This dot picture client shell rename ops dot name. Yes, and then we are gonna put all of this stuff. This is gonna be the promise. That's gonna be the promise. And this is gonna be the shell. But we're not gonna return the shell. We're gonna return a new command with the shell, with this dot picture client. I want to do the opposite. This is the picture client, the shell, and we're going to have the promise of, yeah. And then inside the command, okay, return new command. Constructor, yeah, we're not going to have that promise here. We're actually going to create it inside. Isn't there like a, how do I do this? How do I kind of flip lines? I've never been good at this. Okay, but we're going to have an internal promise here. Private output promise, which is going to be a promise of output and status. So output will be string and status will be shell status. Okay, output promise. Isn't there like, can do this? No, no. You know what? I'm just gonna do this. Private picture client. Picture client. Isn't a picture? Oh, what the hell do we call it? iPicture client. Well, actually, it's always the VM client, but anyways. Okay, so now we have iPicture client. So now we can create this promise. So we can still have like this run thing, but we can rather call this like create command promise. Or create command output promise. That's what it is. So we're going to kind of do the same thing here, but we're going to do the opposite. We are going to, first of all, we're going to remove shell because we're going to actually get the shell. We're not going to have this pre-command. We're not going to have anything of this. But we're going to have, oh, look at this. We don't need any of this. Looks like we need picture client. What do we need picture for? Yeah, of course. Okay. And then we're going to have the shell. I'm not sure why it said that. So now we're going to have, let's see, the result promise. I'm not sure if we're going to have that. We're just going to, we're not going to add anything to this result promise. Yeah, so this is going to be a promise of output string, not exit code, but status. Yeah, it's interesting what you're saying. I actually have a colleague who's also from India who actually did a startup before joining CodeSandbox. And I was in Amsterdam this weekend, and we actually talked a little bit about it. And he was actually at a point where he had to, like he had something running and he could choose. Do I go and get investors or do I join CodeSandbox? And what we talked about is he kind of realized what he actually wanted, because building something technically, like building something that's useful for others, there's many things you need to do to get it in the hands of other people. And he had a choice, like, do I continue to do what I love to do, which is building things for other people? Or am I gonna run this investment run? I'm gonna do marketing. I'm gonna do support. I'm gonna do talk to our users and like everything that goes into actually getting a product into the hands of others. And he chose to join CodeSandbox actually. So, and that's not meant as a discouragement. It's meant as like, you should really reflect on, is this really what you want to do? Because what you can do instead of like, what's the next step, is like, how do I get investments? How do I do marketing and all of that? You should consider finding someone that can do this with you. Because if you really love building the thing, that's what makes you tick. You can get completely exhausted by the next step in the process. So that would be my first recommendation, is like, reflect on what makes it fun to work on this, and evaluate if there's someone that can actually join you and ideally has experience with this. Yeah, because it's very, very difficult to do a startup on your own. Not because of the actual thing that you're trying to get in the hands of other people, building that, but everything else. Getting investments, marketing, communicating with users, supporting them, pivoting the product as you get feedback. Like, there's so much that needs to happen. And just, if you do get that investment and you do get other people to help you with the technical stuff, those people need to be not managed in like a sense, not managed, but they need to be put into a culture, and they have needs that needs to be tended to. You have to create a vision for them. Like, there's so much you have to do as a founder. And very rarely that is the same person, or that single founder has the broad skill set of doing everything to get the product to a place where you can ask for investments and have the skill sets that's needed after you get the investment, because there's a whole other type of skill sets you need after the investment. And that's what the investors are looking for. They don't care about your product, actually. They care about who is building the product. So if you present yourself as, I am super technical, this is so awesome, I love working on this thing, you're probably not going to get the investment, because you don't have an experience after getting an investment. But if you can get someone to join you that has experience of taking a completely different idea after having investment and working on those kinds of, and applying skills to that phase of a startup, that's where you want to be. And then investors are much more likely to invest in you as well, because you have that drive of building things, but you also have that skill set of doing everything that's unrelated to building the thing, if that makes sense. And back to like my colleague's story, was like, he reflected on this, and he didn't see himself as the person that will be able, that had the skills to do all of this other stuff. Yeah, I hope that made sense. But I don't have to do a job. Yeah, exactly. But so what's going to happen when you get that investment is that your idea is going to go corporate. That's the thing. So you want to find someone who actually loves taking an idea to the corporate world, so that you can stay with your idea that you love, that you can build, and focus on that. Find good people you like to work with and continue doing what you've been doing up to this point, and then find someone else that can do the corporate stuff. And that's also going to help you get that investment, so you can continue doing what you love doing. And that's what investors are looking for. They're looking for this duo of, okay, you're the technical idea, iterating fast person, get things out to the users. And then there's this other co-founder that's like more of a management and a support to like this technical engine or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, that takes care of the company entity while you take care of the product entity, kind of thing. Anyways, that's my experience. Let's see. I'm just going to book a session so I don't forget. Let's see. Wait, where did I go? Here I go. Event. Oh, discuss. Wait, didn't I actually? I did book an event, didn't I? Oh, discuss preview. Let's see. Okay, so let's just move that to 12 then. Well, here then. So, cool. Cool. Sorry. Yeah, happy to share experiences, and I'm the same. Like I have so many ideas. I push through and good ideas as well, and I go through them, and I get to that final 5%, even like just an open source thing, and it kind of just I lose all my motivation. It's very interesting. So I know I'm not a founder type. Even at CodeSandbox, the reason I got hired early on is because Eva's one of the founders, the technical person. He was just running like crazy, like building. And he doesn't have that mind of constantly evaluating how he implements things because it would slow him down so much. So what I did even before CodeSandbox became a company was like refactoring, kind of running after him, and then evaluating, okay, where does this actually fit in the big picture? And just constantly kind of running after him, trying to make things as scalable as possible, which is exactly what I'm doing here. And I love doing that. That's where I really enjoy my job. It's when I'm doing that. So even though it's like, yeah, I have the skill set and ideas, I think, to actually like do a startup. And I actually did once. But the same thing happened. Like we built this really cool teaching tool for kids. So you could actually record session, like this is many years ago. You could record code learning sessions in the browser with video and audio. And you could like, but it was live in the sense that when you watch the course, you could pause it at any point in time. You could change the code, you could scroll back and forward, and like it was really, really cool. Interactive, I guess, is the term. And we even went to schools and tested it and got super good feedback. And in Norway, there's like this organization that gives money to people who want to try out ideas. You can't use that money to pay yourself, but you can use it to pay other people to help you. And I did that, and we got to the point where next phase, and everything just, no, I had so much fun building this thing. I proved that it's valuable. I even built like a state management tool because of the specific requirements that got popular in open source. And then, no, I'm happy. I don't need to go further. But like you're 20, like you don't know yet what makes you tick, right? So you should just jump into every opportunity and figure out, is this something where my skills and motivation applies well, or is it something I don't want to do? So so yeah, you should just go for it regardless. But it's a lot for one person to do a startup. That's for sure. Anyways, where the hell were we? Promise dot resolve. Oh, aren't you happy with this? Oh, it's status. Status shell status. I'm still not happy. Oh, it's a string. Number. That's not a number. That's shell status. Cool. So then, okay, so now we're creating the promise for the shell to figure out when it's done. So if it's already finished, we return it. If not, we run all the things. Oh, we need to make this async. Oh, cool. So this is async, so I don't have to do the promise resolve. Then we have disposable store. And then again, we have status result.value, result.status. Oh, what's this result? Oh, it's the barrier. Oh, wait, what the hell? Oh, so barrier, we want to do status. Shell status. But then we also have to barrier open exit code. I don't think, oh, what's this? On shell exited. Oh, we don't show them. Okay, so I want to do exit code. Is it 0? That's success? I think so. I think so. On shell terminated, we're gonna do status killed. Look at that. Barrier open, status killed. Wait, resolved? Why does it say resolved? Oh, value. Sorry. Okay, value status. But what if it's not? Why is it not? It should always be defined. Where's barrier? Ugh. Barrier. We should always pass. Let's just do the shell status. There we go. So we'll do exit code like that. We'll do killed barrier.wait and then result.value. Cool. That makes a lot of sense to me. And then we can go in here and we can say return new command. Yeah, so we're going to return an actual command here. Command. Oh, promise of a command. And then we can remove this. Oh. Oh my God. Cool. And then we pass it. Command shell is not a. Oh, I picture client, sorry. Shell. Cool. Then we have the shell. And then, oh, this is interesting. So in this case, no, I think it makes sense. So when we create the shell constructor, we're going to say this dot, and then we say that this shell output promise, yeah, okay. This output promise, it's going to be create output promise, picture client, and shell. Oh, why is it this and buffer? I'm confused. Open shell DTO. Oh, let's see. So this needs to be open shell DTO. There we go. But then this is wrong. Why is this? Yeah, this should be command shell DTO. Why is this open? Oh, interesting. Wait, and it uses a terminal? Oh, okay. That's fine. Open shell DTO. Huh. What's the difference between an open shell DTO and a command shell DTO? Let's just try to type it as both. Or command, yeah, sorry, protocol. It wasn't open even, it was just command shell. Yeah, and then okay, but then we don't have a buffer. Oh, okay. So the command shell DTO doesn't necessarily have a buffer. But an open shell DTO has a buffer. So, but this is the thing, like this is the, yeah. So this is the thing, like we're not actually using, yeah, I think I know what's wrong. We're not actually, what the fuck? I think I made a mistake. No. So we don't actually have, this is a problem, because we're not actually running commands as a command. We're running it as a terminal. Fuck. I didn't pick up on that. No. What are we gonna do about this? So that it's a terminal is a low-level concern. But we are actually getting, and we're getting an open shell DTO here. But when we're getting all commands, what we really want to get back is, well, we just want to get back an actual command. So that's fine. I think this is actually fine. Oh, and maybe buffer. Oh, okay. Sorry. So this is why. Okay, this is fine. And then we do shell. But this needs to be the same thing. Yeah, now I understand what they're... yeah, so we might not have a buffer here. That's the point. So either we have this or it's just an empty string. Oh, sorry, not... And then combined output would be... I guess the same. Okay, so what would happen here is like, if you actually go and you look for commands, this is interesting because this is a hack, kinda, because we don't really have a good way to interact with commands. You kind of just run them, and then we're lacking stuff in... So what would happen here is that if you were to run... Yeah, but yeah, okay. But I think we can do it like this. Because if you do start running a command, well, what could happen here is that you could start a command and then you just go away from the browser, like you close the tab or something. So it won't actually go in and, but does it even do that? No, it just, yeah. So we don't really know what terminals are run as a command. But this is, I don't understand this. Why is it run as a terminal? Fudge. Why is it not run as a command? And what does all this mean? Is system shell? So if it's a command, like how can it ever be finished if it's a terminal? That's what I don't understand about this. How can it be like finished? Shell.status finished. How is that possible if it's not a command? I don't understand. I have to ask about this. Why you made was there limitations to command? Is it because we're killing it? So, or are we killing it? We're running the thing and then on shell out. I don't understand this. On shell exited. How is it exited? What exits it? It's a terminal. It doesn't exit. Yeah, I don't understand how this actually works. Like it doesn't make sense to me. Why is it a terminal? And how does it actually resolve itself? On shell out. And then, yeah, I truly don't understand this. Like, oh, look at my calendar. Let's see, is this the documentation? No, where's the documentation? Oh, where did I put it? Well, I guess I can do CodeSandbox SDK. Read docs. Shells. Running commands. For simple command execution, you can use run. On output. Optionally cancel it, but it's running a terminal. How can a terminal be finished? Yeah, I'm curious about that. Or maybe it's the way it's being run or something. Command with N. Shell size is system shell. Okay, so no. This is a mystery to me. How it can get finished. Because I have to relearn this stuff. It's a long time since I worked on it. So we have a shell process, terminal shell process. When does it get finished? It's when you exit the thing. That's when it... How the hell did he make this work? Yeah, I'm super curious about this. Anyways, I'll get an answer to this. We'll just have to kind of make an assumption that it actually... Well... Oh, sorry. Commands. That it actually... Wait, where did I put the restart? Did I put restart on... Didn't I put restart on this thing? Oh, was it on the actual thing? Yeah, sorry, restart. Yeah, I'm very confused by this. Anyways, so we have this output promise that we're creating. And what we want to do is basically give you a method that allows you to wait for... Well, I guess you could even have get output here. But you're also going to get the status. Yeah. Or we could also do... Yeah, what should we call that? Because you want to wait for it to be done. Command. I guess you could just call it wait. Oh, because it does it have output? Wait. Yeah, this shell.buffer. Yeah, exactly. But is this actually being used? This never gets populated, right? No. Just 2 seconds. Yeah? Hei. OK. Hva med? Nei, glemt meg bort litt. Emma, da? Okay, cool. Ha det. All right. Let's see, just coordinating some kids. Yeah, but this is weird because we're doing this promise. Okay, but we're also updating the output. That's fine. And then, yeah, that is fine. And then on status change emitter. This is an interesting thing. But then on shell terminated. On shell exited. And what's the difference on shell exited and on shell terminated? So this is definitely kill. But on shell exited. Is this called whenever I don't know. When does shells exit? Is there a difference killing a shell, causing it to terminate and making it exit? I don't understand. You type exit build or log out. Non-interactive. Yeah, but for us, a terminal is interactive and a command is non-interactive. Yeah, no, I have to ask about this. I don't understand how this works. So what were we gonna do? Were we gonna do anything? Oh, it was the waiting thing. Sorry. That was in command. We have the output promise. And the question is, we have get output, which is synchronous, which is kind of get. We could have like get final output. Get final output. And that returns this dot output promise. And yeah, and there you get the actual status and the output. Something like that. At least this reflects more a command. But we still have this weird thing here where we're mapping over commands. But if you happen to have like run a command, you refresh the browser, you won't find that command here because it's not a command, it's a terminal. So there's some inconsistency here that I don't quite understand. We need to figure that out. Or if there's some information on this terminal that makes it a command. Command with env. And then like it's env. Yeah, it's just doing. Yeah. Yeah, this makes sense. I can't. I don't understand. Why is it a terminal? Why? Oh, why? Oh, why? But what would happen if I just call it a command? Like, do I get typing errors? I don't even get typing errors. Answer me. Okay, I'm gonna just make that a command now because it should be a command. And then let's finish the refactor. Because now we have the interpreter. So let's take a look at how the interpreter works. Maybe it even doesn't work. Maybe he changed it to terminal for the interpreter, and then it forgot about the run command. Something like that. Okay, anyway, so this is the interpreter. Let's just remove everything. Shell instance. So we have the language interpreter. And what does this do? Get random string. And then run command as user. Oh, this is where it does. Oh, before running it. Okay. Interesting. This is interesting. So what this thing want to do is to basically run a command. Yeah, it just wants to run a command, but it wants to do this thing first. It's kind of weird that that's like part of that API. Why doesn't it just do it here? Yeah, and then we're gonna do, let's see. So I think what we want to do here is to export. I guess we do that already. We export commands, and we should also export command. Yeah. So I guess a command and an interpreter isn't much different. Yeah, I think we can do that. So it's just a command. And then we're gonna do, yeah, again, I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because the shell is like already, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I find that to be curious. Why doesn't it just run it here? Cool. Oh, did I miss something? Sorry. Cool. And then it's gonna do return. New command, I guess. Or you know what? I think what we want to do here is just say, yeah, do we want to do new command, or do we want to do, let's see. Wait, where's run? Oh, sorry. What does run actually do? Oh yeah, we have to do run. Yeah. So this actually needs access to the commands. Interpreters, this needs, I don't think it needs picture client. It just needs private commands. And then we just say commands. And then here, oh, we're gonna remove a ton of stuff. Yeah, because I think language interpreter just needs the commands, right? Oh no, it actually needs picture client as well. Okay. You know what? I'm actually way over time here. Picture client. I think we need to finish this tomorrow. This does commands. Runtime now. Okay. Create, open, run. Yeah, so this is just really gonna be the interpreters, language server, private commands, and then we're gonna run return commands. Wait, what? Oh, this dot command. Run, do we have the command? And the options is env. I guess we want to do env. This options env. And we don't want to do anything about anything else. That's what we want to do. So now we're getting a command back. We're happy about that, I hope. Yeah. And then we clean up that thing as well. Great. Okay, so we did the cleanup. We haven't done the testing. I need to understand the terminal thing, why it's being used. Probably missing something. And then we're going to test this tomorrow. And we need to update documentation again. But it's going to look super, super nice. And then we're going to actually implement new snapshot tags because I have a colleague working on that now. And then I think we should kind of, yeah. So the product manager for this is in San Francisco at the moment. So we need to find time to meet. Yeah, when are we going to do that? Maybe this evening. Yeah, I'll figure that out. Anyways, yeah, I guess we don't need this. Don't need this, do we? No. We don't need shell status. Oh, shell options. No. Oh, we need. Yeah, okay, shell size, fine. Do we need shell status? No. Cool. Yes. Okay, that's it for now. Talk to you maybe tomorrow. We're gonna continue that DevTool thing. We need to make that action tracking working. That would be fun. But yeah, bye for now.